Hey, it's Dr. Stephanie. So it's been a long week, but I wanted to share with you some insight that I picked up this week that is priceless. And it's a business hack that you wouldn't think that's so necessary to do or have. And that business hack is not only do you have to find your niche, but you have to decide how you're going to show up for the people that you serve. Now, let's think about that for a second. How you show up, meaning how are you going to coach these people? What character traits are you going to have? What personality are you going to show up? What will be your reputation when these people leave you and they go, I went to see such and such, and she was, your reputation is all about this one hack. If you master this one thing, your practice is going to fly. The projections are going to be off the roof because what you will discover is once you do this one thing, you will have solidified your brand. And branding yourself is everything, right? And what does brand mean? Brand is not a branding video, but just briefly, branding is what people know you by. Okay, we know McDonald's by the golden arches and the M. We know, KFC by the colors and the KF. That's branding. But branding is also about the personality of the environment. So this one business hack that will take your practice to six-figure projections is really simple. It's not about colors. It's not about fonts in your name. It's not about how many videos you make you know what it's about? It's about you. It's about you. How do you show up? That becomes your brand. Now, how you show up means everything because you have to decide how you're going to show up and then you have to embody that character, that personality. So if you're not a bubbly person, you can't put on a bubbly mask because it's going to fall off. And you're going to originally attract people who gravitate towards somebody who has that personality. And then when your mask falls off, those people are going to drop off because you're not going to be the person that they fell in love with to trust enough to coach them or support them on their wellness journey. So that one hack is knowing yourself. And once you know yourself, become comfortable with yourself. I give an example. So I told you in previous videos that when I became a naturopath, I felt like I had to validate my existence as a professional by mimicking the allopath. So when you came into my office, I had the white coat. It said, your healing place, Dr. Stephanie, ND, PhD, have all the credentials legally. Have all the credentials academically. Like I did the work. So I wanted to make sure that it was shown because in my mind, people equated wellness and health to somebody that had a white coat, and that white coat meant authority. I know more than you know. And it worked for a while, but then I started realizing, but this doesn't feel authentic to my core. Who am I? Who is Stephanie? Why does she want to do this? Why are you doing this, girl? And I really wanted to help. Why did I want to help? I wanted to help because I saw that there was a gap in delivery in the other side. And I wanted to make sure that I filled that gap. That gap was time, compassion, genuine caring, and a desire to help you not only treat something that felt uncomfortable, but help you get well. Because in naturopathy, we believe that the body will heal itself if you give it what it needs and take away what it doesn't. The body's going to heal itself. Have you ever had a paper cut? It hurt for a few minutes. 3 days later, you forget about it. You look at it again and it's already skin that you can peel off and it's done. The body will heal itself. That is the premise of a naturopath. So if that's the premise of the naturopath, it was unnatural for me to show up to my clients or have my office mimic something that I didn't even believe in. So I was like, girl, you got to get your mind right. So what I did was I took off my white coat. I hung it up in the closet. It was only a photo op or a prop at that point. I started wearing regular clothes. I switched my office model around a little bit. And so I added more plants. We had fish tanks, and I played jazz music. It wasn't that elevator music, it was jazz music. Could have been some smooth R&B. And it was a playlist that I had curated that at the time was just playing through speakers on the desk in the reception office. And when people came into the office, not only did they feel a sense of peace and calm and, oh, right, this is what I've been looking for. I didn't even know this is that's what made my practice grow and grow and grow because I came and I allowed myself to be authentically tapped into what I was delivering. So if you can do that, your practice, your coaching business is going to skyrocket. Now, how do you translate that into a virtual model when you no longer have a virtual office? And that's where the challenge came in for me. It took me a minute to figure out how to do that. And one of the things that I realized is when I was in the office, we had a motto. You came in with a handshake and you left with a hug. And that was something that and it got to a point where my clients would step at the end of the day, I would greet them and I would open the door for them or help them with their coat. And it got to the end of the day, sometimes they'd be like, they was waiting for their hug. And I was like, I'm so sorry I didn't give you your hug. What was happening is the very essence, the authentic version of myself is the person of me that started showing up. And the more it showed up, the more my practice grew because people would start saying, we've never met anybody that cares and shows so much compassion the way you do. And we would have a 3-minute conversation about what's going on with their families. And I would remember, how's your mom? How's your grandmom? How's your dog? Did you get that fingernail fixed that popped off 2 days after? Would remember those things because when you're caring and taking care of someone from an authentic place, you care enough to learn about them. They also care enough to learn about you. And so we became kind of like a family. So now when I do this thing virtually, I bring to you that same personality. So you probably don't expect a professional practitioner to have all of these accolades to be so down to earth. Well, guess what? This is all I know how to be at my core. When I tried to be someone that I wasn't, it didn't work. It felt icky to my soul. I stumbled in my observations. I wasn't able to be compassionate, but give critical thinking and how to support. It just was off. It was just something off. And I noticed that offness actually translated into less clients. Now, remember, I told you that naturopathy and wellness on this side, we're about spirit, mind, and body and energy. So when my energy was clear, I had clients coming out of the woodworks. And sometimes I would shut the office down or close my calendar out to say that I was full because I needed a break. I needed an energetic break because we were constantly exchanging energy. I was giving energy from a positive perspective, but I was also absorbing energy, the negative, and I was sometimes having a hard time dissipate and cleanse my own spirit. And so that's where Epsom salt baths comes in. That's where grounding comes in. That's where going into the ocean comes in to kind of clear and clarify the energy. Because sometimes my body started responding to the things that my clients were dealing with. If I was using a technology and they had a grief problem, I will never forget one day, it was a Christmas, oh man. I had did a biomeridian scan on a man that I saw that had lung stagnation. And once you do the biorhythm, you give the treatment, the energetic treatment. I didn't have my Q link on. A Q link is a thing that protects me from EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, and also, clears my energy because I'm experiencing so many people's energy because I'm the healer. I'm experiencing it. I literally was rushed to the hospital because I couldn't breathe. And I was like, oh my God, why did that happen? I'm like, oh, I cleared the lungs out of that man. Oh, geez, I forgot that. So being vulnerable also means you have to protect yourself. So that hack of being authentically you and being open to being vulnerable, you also have to protect yourself. And maybe I'll do another video about how to protect yourself as a coach energetically, because you're not only listening to the limiting beliefs, the triggers of trash traumas, and the disappointments, and employing your strategy, whether it's a business strategy, it's it's a wellness strategy, it's a lose weight exercise strategy. While you're employing that strategy, you still have to protect yourself from the incoming of the of the not so good side of the reason why they actually came to see you in the first place. So this one hack that I cannot express enough is to be centered in your authentic expression of who you show up to be without thinking about it. It's not the pretend you. It's not the you that people think that a coach should be. It's the you that God embodied your spirit to be, because that's where your strength is. And so my strength in coaching, and you probably can see it through my videos, I don't necessarily act like a practitioner, right? I mean, I have the body of knowledge, but I'm still Stephanie. I'm still silly. I'm still a singer. I'm still a mom. I'm still a grandma. I'm still a wife. I'm still all those things. And those things are going to filter through our conversations. Those things are also going to filter through into the videos that you're watching now. But hopefully, this video specifically gives you permission to just woosah and be yourself. You don't have to dress like the other coaches. You don't have to have the same brand as the other coaches. You are your brand. And if you're comfortable in your own skin, your brand is going to flourish. So I am myself. I'm a naturopath, so I don't like to wear makeup. And so if I do, it's going to be a natural foundation, a little bit of something just to be presentable in the camera. But you're not going to find me all made up like the videos of the women who are doing makeup tutorials. That's not me. I can't pretend that it is. And a couple of times, you could go back and check, a couple of times that I tried to do that, I look like a clown doing the filters on my face. I saw some videos like a couple of months ago when I actually did the AI filter. Remember, I told you last video back about how AI helped save my business. Well, one I didn't tell you about the AI where I did the video filters, and I'm like, girl, that's not you. You're not. You're not a dialed up person. You're not. You're concerned with spirit, mind, and body, and healing people, and you want to look presentable when you do that, but it doesn't equate to now you have to get a whole makeup line, right? You don't have to be any different than God made you. You just have to be comfortable in your own skin. And when people feel that, they feel comfortable with you, because a coach helps you release your own sense of insecurities. It helps you release your vulnerabilities so you can fill those spaces with good things so you can move on and get to the goal that you want to set. Whether it's a weight loss goal, an exercise goal, a mindset goal, a business goal, a life goal, whatever it is, that's what a coach does. But if a coach is not coming to you in a way that you feel as though she's authentic and she's wearing a mask, then where's the trust? You can't trust anybody who's pretending. They're telling you not to pretend, but they are the great pretender. So the great pretender, Stephanie Reed, took off the white coat. And I actually let my son-in-law use it as a video prop when his first album release. It was in his video. Mom, can I use your sure? It's not even that sacred to me anymore. Before, it used to be sacred. I would take it to the cleaners, get it pressed and starched, so I would come into the office and I would look like Dr. Stephanie. Well, that was so unnecessary. It was just like over the top. What did that do? That said I was insecure. I was not comfortable in my own skin. So if you want to grow your coaching business, you have to be comfortable in your own skin. Now, another way that I became comfortable in my own skin, and this is a huge hack that I'm just going to tell you about, is I started writing out my journey so I could see it myself. I started writing in journals. I started doing my vision boards. I just started connecting with who I wanted to be. Well, here's the thing. We're always who we are, but it gets covered up with so much junk, we forget who we are. And so that's what I went. I went on a self-exploration of just being unapologetic about the things in my life. So a lot of times I would connect with people that I could trust. And I started talking about, I want to purge these things out of my spirit. Would you mind listening to me for a second? Just give me some feedback. I'm not dumping on you, but as my friend, can you listen to this so I can just move forward? And my good friend would go, yeah, what's going on? And I would say, this happened to me years ago and I never processed it. I want to process it now. And they would go, you know what? I've been through that before. I never processed it. Huh, interesting. And then I started asking other women what they had gone through. And I would just start listening, and I realized that there was a theme, a thread in women's lives that we all have very similar stories. Once I realized that the women that I wanted to coach had a similar story as mine, then it made it that much easier to be comfortable in my own skin, but also recognizing that I had grown past the pain and stepped into the wisdom, and I had something to share. So not only did I transfer my negative energy into the positive light of it, I had enough wisdom to share, and I started realizing that's what made me relatable and able to connect with the women that I serve. So it benefited me to tap into that part of myself so they could see that if I have survived and now thriving, so can you. And then not only did I stop being unauthentic with how I showed up, I started incorporating language that would resonate. So I would speak in a way that resonated with me, but also resonated with you. So here's one of those. If you're a woman 40 and over, you absolutely have triggers of past traumas. And those triggers of past traumas have actually probably shaped the woman that you've become now in this age bracket. And it's language that this is what we heard. Girl, you're supposed to be seen and not heard. You can think it, but you better not say it. What goes in our house stays in our house. Oh, really? Well, you're too sensitive. You better pull your big girl panties up and keep it moving. Girl, you better not let them see you sweat. You see how all of these things that we've heard growing up, whether it was commercials, whether it was parroted in our family, whether our girlfriends said it to us because they knew that our parents were saying it to us because they said it to, and we were reinforcing these behaviors. These are all the things that make you become disconnected from your true self. So you have to unlearn and unwire that. And if you bucked it when you were young, you can absolutely buck it right now. So one of the things that used to happen all the time was in my family, telling your age was like a taboo. So sometimes you might hear me say my age, not because I'm anything about it, but I tell you my age because I'm so grateful to be 58. I'll be 58 in a couple of days. This is January. I'll be 58 in February. I am so grateful to have gotten to this point in life because a lot of people in my family that I love dearly are not here, and they left in their 20s, their early 30s. Some of them never ever having children or never having grandchildren or never seeing their children grow up. And that breaks my heart. So I'm grateful to say, girl, I'm 58. So you might hear me boast about that. But that's one of the things that we were not able to share growing up. Don't never tell nobody your age because why? If the grace of God has gotten you to this particular point, you better celebrate it and say, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. And shout it to the rooftop because that means you've survived all the things that you've endured. You've pulled wisdom from those things, and it's that wisdom that now allows you to stand 10 toes down and be a woman of character, be a person of character. And that's what your clients will need to see. They need to see that one hack manifest in you so they can be a successful testimony for your practice. So if you're not being authentic in your practice, check yourself. You might be a coach that needs a coach. I'm here for you. But at the end of the day, that's the one hack that has saved my coaching business. It's me standing in my authentic truth, scars, wounds, testimonies, and all. And from that place, I humbly accept the charge to help women move from panic to empowerment so they can unclock their creative power because I want a whole bunch of women, thousands of them, to just be in their own space, helping people. We have too many gifts not to share with the world to be phenomenal leaders. And so I'm a leader that's helping women discover who they are so they can move on to self-mastery. because I can't do this work by myself and the world needs us collectively. So if there's anything that I shared with you that you liked, you absolutely love, comment below. I'm gonna follow the comments and tap in. This is a new channel, so it's sparse, but I know it's gonna go viral. We're gonna have millions of views and people talking and doing whatever. But if you want to connect with me right now, you can get my books. They're on Amazon. You can click the link below, but I'm also having my first international retreat in Dominican Republic. And right now it's January, so you have a month and a half to get yourself together. It's all inclusive and it's from March the 12th to the 25th. I would love to meet you in person because we're gonna start meet with a handshake, but we're gonna absolutely leave with a hug because I am that coach. Coaching is not glamorous, but it's absolutely so rewarding. And I want to bring that to you. I hope you felt that. So until next time, be well.